Irongate has announced their newest biome, the Ashlands, will launch in the first half of 2024. Unlike the Secretive Mistlands release, the Irongate team has shared plenty about the upcoming biome over the past 18 months in their monthly development blogs, Twitter posts, and most recently, a 3-part walk and talk series with programmer Jonathan and lead of the Ashlands Robin, for which I have included links for in the description. And lucky for you, I have compiled and unpacked all of that information and will share with you the truth about the Ashlands, including weapons, creatures, and new secret mechanics. But first, a disclaimer: viewers beware. The contents of this video will contain countless Ashland spoilers. You have been warned. First and foremost, you can expect the terrain to be unrecognizable from what it is today. While the team has stated they're iterating on terrain generation, expect the Ashlands to be separated by ocean from all other biomes unlike it is currently. This is important as if you have discovered the Ashlands biome, when the Ashlands update launches, your server will not be able to regenerate the terrain to incorporate the new look biome. For this reason, it is strongly recommended by Irongate that you start a new world for the Ashlands, as can be expected for big updates going forward while Valheim continues in early access. On the bright side, you will get to take in the sweet, salty sea air as you navigate to the Ashlands without any threats at all. When you do land in the biome, expect to find a transformed landscape with an abundance of burnt trees, rocks, and ash. While navigating inward, expect to find remnants of civilization with ruined structures and what the developers have described as temples to seek refuge from the unforgiving flame and ash. Once inland, expect to find lava flows from which the developers have hinted at a new mechanic to gather the Ashland's valuable resource. Amidst the lava flows, you will find safe platforms containing the newest metal type in flame metal. As you might know, you can find, mine, and smelt flame metal today, but up until this update, it has served no purpose in-game. Shortly, I will share with you the new craftable flame metal weapons to overcome the Ashland's fearsome creatures. The native creatures to the biome will be completely revamped with a new, robust set of foes to overcome, of which 6 are currently known. First, in May of last year, Irongate teased what they referred to as a passive creature in the then called Cadaver Bank bird that appears to resemble a vulture. I expect this bird to either serve as the Ashlands version of the gull, but more likely a new source of meat and potentially new feather type, as teased in this image, showcasing a black feather, tooth, and heart, all of which are anticipated to be new drops from Ashland's critters. My hope is that the feathers will be an ingredient in a new type of arrow, while the other 2 items are a bit more mysterious. They also tease that there could be a ritual taking place in this image, which makes me speculate this could be the boss summoning altar or something even more clouded in secrecy. Beyond that, a new craftable wreath will also be added to the game, which leads me to believe we might have an additional comfort enhancing furniture piece on the way. Second, and likely the most common creature in Ashlands, are Twitchers. These are said to be comparable to the Grey Dwarfs of the Black Forest and have been described as the trash mob of the biome. To expand on this Black Forest comparison, I found this to be a common theme across each of Irongate's walk and talk videos. In fact, they even stated taking on a mantra of what would the Black Forest do when designing the Ashlands. In their eyes, the transition from the meadows to Black Forest is the best in Valheim and from which they took inspiration from in their design. You will not catch me discouraging this line of thinking. In my opinion, the feeling of obtaining the pickaxe and tumbling into the Black Forest to mine tin and copper only to immediately be slapped by a troll has yet to be beat. Similar to those Grey Dwarfs, the Twitchers will also have tall, marked stone structures as spawners, scattered across the biome, which players will have to methodically destroy. As you progress further into the biome, you can expect to come across fortresses. Fortresses are one of the key new mechanics coming to Valheim in the Ashlands, and I will touch on later in this video. That said, inside, you can expect to find the 3rd and 4th new creatures. First, the Charred. Originally, the Charred were planned to be found roaming the biome, but Twitchers were added to replace them. It is now anticipated that they will be found within fortresses, taking both a melee and ranged form. Robin added in the walk and talk that he took great inspiration from the Terminator in the design of the Charred in the T800 model specifically. Further, you can expect the Charred to stalk you endlessly with a slow and menacing walk. Fourth, the Fallen Valkyrie, also anticipated to be the protectors of fortresses. You may have never noticed this, but the creature flying you in at the start of a game in Valheim is also a Valkyrie. the introduction of an undead version of this creature will almost certainly have deep lore implications. Unsurprisingly, they've been the most iterated upon creatures of the biome, having taken several forms throughout the development cycle. In fact, it was once contemplated they would scrap the creature altogether. Fortunately, it does seem they will appear in the final form of the game, adding an aerial threat as we attempt to conquer their fortress. Fifth is what Robin has described as the mini-boss of the biome in the Morgan. Based on their crouched frog-like stance, I anticipate they have a great leaping ability and will no doubt present a challenge, perhaps comparable to the troll from the Black Forest. And lastly, Ashland's protector in the Bone Serpent. I fully expect these to replace the standard serpent along the coast of the Ashlands and are likely a large influence as to why the Ashlands will be separated by water from all other biomes. If you want to see the new biome, you best be prepared to tackle one of these. And thanks to Irongate Studios, I fully expect we will be provided with the weapons to do so. In fact, they have teased various weapons to be added to the Ashlands and have even stated that this is the biome with the most weapons to date. Swords, great swords, maces, and a new weapon class in dual-wielded axes have all been confirmed, but with an added twist that I will cover in a moment. The dual-wielded axes in particular had their primary and secondary attacks showcased with a leaping attack resembling that of daggers. Fortunately, while a different class of axe, it has been confirmed that dual axes will use the same axe skill, foregoing the need to completely re-level to maximize your use of this weapon class. Beyond what has been confirmed, a weapon class called Eldner has also been teased. This could be a placeholder for magic staffs or perhaps an entirely unrelated melee weapon, only time will tell. On the topic of magic staffs, they have not showcased any new mage staffs or spells, but they have referenced what Jonathan did call a shotgun type weapon when discussing mage casting, which I am very excited for. But speaking of excited, likely the best new mechanic coming to weapons is the ability to infuse your flame metal weapons with elemental gems. In fact, they showcased the visual effect of each of these types on the standard sword with what they called Storm, which I anticipate to do lightning damage, Blood, which could be fire, and thirdly, Nature, which I anticipate is poison. Unfortunately, they have stated that only weapons made with flame metal will be infusible with these gems, so you won't be able to add elemental damage to weapons from past biomes. Lastly, I have not seen any teasers for new bows or crossbows, but they have shared what they did call their Ranger armor, which to me implies some new ranged bows or crossbows as well. In addition to the ranged armor, like most of Valheim's biomes, there will be a heavy alternative with the set fully kitted with an antler helmet looking super badass. Thirdly, there will be a new mage set closely resembling the Fenris armor from the mountains. The developers did speak a bit about their philosophy around armor, having previously referred to the alternative armor sets, like the Weave from the Mistlands, as side-grade armor sets, or in other words, progression optional. It appears their philosophy behind this has evolved to consider a greater emphasis on playstyle variety rather than progression-oriented armor. As a result, I expect ranged, melee, and spellcasting combat to be well supported in the Ashlands, as well as future biomes and general development going forward. To prepare for the new mechanic coming to the Ashlands, we will first need to ensure we are well fed. Like the biomes before it, the Ashlands will add new food ingredients and new food recipes to enhance your health, stamina, and Iter levels. 3 new meals have been teased in the mashed meat, likely a health food, pecan pie, likely a stamina food, and spicy marmalade, which could very well be an Iter food. Plus, we now know that despite its barren landscape, some plants can grow in the biome, and the plant they shared will likely be an ingredient in those previously mentioned recipes. And with these new powerful foods in our bellies, we should now be ready to face the Ashland's new mechanic in Fortress Time. In short, it is anticipated that there will be fortresses within the Ashlands you and your friends will need to overcome and pillage for great treasures. As previously mentioned, these forts will be protected at minimum by the Charred and Fallen Valkyries. And be wary, as mentioned by the developers, these creatures have been known to extend outside the fort if you set up camp too close. Fortunately, Irongate won't leave you too high and dry when it comes to dealing with the forts, as brand new siege engines will be craftable. First, the battering ram, which Robin mentioned would need to be fuel powered, but appears to borrow the mechanics of the standard cart that will likely require Viking power to haul it to a fortress gate. Second, a catapult, which I imagine will do very catapult-like things. And let's hope they've improved it since this clip that Jonathan shared on Twitter, working as intended indeed. And thirdly, this mysterious obliterator-looking contraption. My best guess is that this might be a bomb-like device that you would have to place by the fortress's gate and pull the lever to bring down lightning, but none of that is confirmed. What still does remain a mystery is exactly how the fortress time will work. They have referred to fortress time functioning like that of a dungeon in previous biomes. In that case, I expect to start fortress time, the player would need to interact with something or trigger a loading screen to begin a fortress attack, but only time will tell. However, we do know one thing: there will be death. Valheim Twitter shared this image from their Let's Play Friday sessions of the developers attempting to tackle a fortress. I can't wait. As for the Ashlands boss, little to nothing is known. That said, Jonathan did leave this clip on his Twitter showcasing fireballs falling from the sky accompanied by heavy metal music. To me, this screams boss fight, but who knows? Maybe we can just expect random balls of fire to fall from the sky as miscellaneous environmental effects. To prepare for this new content, check out my full guide to every Valheim biome on screen now, and do not forget to check out the Spazzy Games live stream every day, Saturday at 1 p.m. AST.